if you want to get better at using one of these on the range, then you need to get yourself a Dryfire Mag. These little mags are about $100, give or take a little bit. I own two at this point. I have one for my Glock 19 and I have another one for my M&P Spec Series. And these are honestly the #1 way that I have become more proficient as a shooter when I get to the range. And basically the work is really done during dry fire when you're not on the range. It's a really simple device. The entire premise of it is that it resets your trigger for you without having to rack your slide. So to demonstrate, on normal dry fire, you're gonna rack your slide, you're gonna shoot, and then your trigger is dead, right? So then you back your slide again, shoot, back your slide again, shoot, so on and so forth. The Dryfire Mag basically resets the trigger on your behalf. So the first important thing to note is that your trigger does have to be in the fire position. Of course, make sure your firearm is unloaded and clear and never point this at another human being. Now, reset your trigger, okay? Then insert your Glock Dryfire Mag, and then the first trigger press is tough on this, and after that, you get a more consistent, normal trigger press. So that was tough, but then you hear the noise is different. And that's because you're actually actuating the magazine, the little lever on the magazine, not your striker and trigger bar, all that stuff. Well, your trigger bar is moving, but your striker specifically isn't moving. So it kind of is not your real trigger. I know some guys rag on Dryfire Mag about that. And
oh, it's not your real trigger. It's not really training you.
If you're that picky about your trigger, you probably need to go shoot a 1911 at 10 yards doing bullseye. If you are at all interested in just learning to shoot better, then this is going to be a tool that will help you. Basically, the Dryfire Mag resets your trigger for you, and it is extremely helpful for a number of things. Obviously, there's no recoil, so you're not going to get the true impulse of, a gun that is going off and the slide is cycling and chambering you around and all that stuff. But there are a bunch of things that you can do that are extremely helpful with a Dryfire Mag. So just to demonstrate how much I love Dryfire Mags, I've got one for my Glock 19 and I've got one for my Smith & Wesson M&P Spec Series. My Glock 19 is my everyday carry, so I keep that loaded and usually am wearing it. So I don't dry fire with this a whole lot, but what I do is keep the M&P on my desk with the Dryfire Mag in it at any given point. Now, there is a bunch of different Dryfire Mag options for the M&P platform. I just emailed the address on their site and said, hey, which one fits this gun? And they were easily very cool with just being like, hey, this is the one you need. So I bought this and I bought it with the spring kit, which ended up being basically like a giant waste of money because, well, it's like $5, $10 maybe, but like I didn't need it. I actually, when I put the Dryfire Mag in this spec series, it feels really good and very close to the stock trigger weight. So if you don't have a spec or you want to fiddle around with getting the Dryfire Mag weight to feel like your custom aftermarket trigger, then the spring pack is a good way to go. For me, I found I didn't need it, but that's okay. It's not their fault. And now I have it in case I ever put like Apex in here or something like that. And the Dryfire Mag does work with the Apex in the Smith & Wesson, that I know for sure. I promise I'm not taking my clothes off, Simon.
I promise I'm not taking my clothes off, Simon.
There are a bunch of ways that I use Dryfire Mags, like you said, every day on my desk, there's one sitting. Hey, so real quick, if you like content like this and you're in the firearms, the hunting, or the outdoors industry, and your business or the business you work for needs content creation and social media marketing, websites, SEO, things like that, I actually own an agency that does that stuff specifically for the firearms, hunting, and outdoors industry. You can go to cootsagency.com, which you're going to see below, and just fill out one of the forms there. You can read articles, you can check us out. We would love to consider working with you, especially if you found us through this YouTube video. Thank you. I use it in a bunch of different ways to train myself for the things that I'm trying to work on. One of the easiest things is it can help you with your holster and present on target and shot and reholster cycle. So obviously there's a little bit of a bulge here. My Dryfire Mag is significantly larger. It's probably for a Glock 17. I don't think they make a 19 length one, frankly. But nonetheless, I carry appendix, and you can train the rep of your entire cycle of action while also not having to manually reset your trigger, which I really love. So you can just do this over and over and over again. And I often do just that. Obviously, this is my carry setup, so if I'm gonna do this, I will use my Glock 19 to make it happen. So that is one of the most impactful ways, because most people don't train their holster cycle process very often. And then when they actually get into class or out on the range, holstering and reholstering is like very odd, and like drawing feels uncomfortable and they haven't practiced their grip. Being able to do that with the Dryfire Mag just makes it really easy to get a pretty well true repeat of that entire process without breaking your stance to, you know, rack your slide in the middle to reset your trigger for the next time. So aside from that, I often do like target focus drills. So one of the things I noticed about myself is I tend to track the dot instead of looking at the target and seeing where I want the dot to go. So I will often occlude the dot with tape. I don't have it occluded at the moment, but I'll put like painter's tape on this, and then you actually can't see the target through the optic, and your eyes actually like superimpose both images together. It's super cool. But for the moment, I have learned and taught myself that I can still look at the target and put the dot on top of what I'm looking at on the target. So I usually go a little slower with this because I'm trying to like be serious about not breaking that gaze. And I just keep my eye right on a target that I have over there on the wall. And I'll just practice this rep, getting on target and practicing not breaking my gaze from the dot that I'm pointing at. So basically trying not to see my red dot. I just want to superimpose it onto what I'm focused on. Another easy thing to do when you're doing that target focus drill is to then change focus to a different target. So I have a couple different things around my office in the corner here, like light switches and stuff that I'll shoot at. So you can teach yourself to transition between things, and you can teach yourself to not be dragging the dot along, but actually be moving your eyes and then moving the dot to where your eyes are already focused. Finally, one of the bigger things I've been working on recently is my like form and stance, and that's kind of twofold. I used to be a very flat-footed shooter, you know, like this. I'd just square off at the target and turtle, and that's a hard habit for me to break. And what I have learned is that I make a lot more practice, or a lot bigger strides in dry fire practice than I do when I'm on the range. So what I have been working on is a left foot forward stance. It's more of a fighter's stance. And then I've also been working on not hurling my shoulders into my ears and just bringing the gun, the dot or the irons up to my eye line. So I've been doing a lot of work just doing this rep over and over and over again, because what I'm trying to do is teach myself to keep my weight balanced but slightly bearing forward, keep my shoulders down, and bring that gun up to my eye line. Not bringing my head down. Don't want to do like this. Do want to do like that. So I have been doing those drills a lot over the last 6 months since I got my first Dryfire Mag, and with this MMP, it's actually been a really fun way to teach myself irons at a more proficient level, because I have a gun with irons on it. I have a red dot coming for this soon, but at the moment it's still got irons. So I'll do the same thing, just trying to get that front sight focus in this case, and then even doing transitions between front sights gets really interesting. So yeah, other things you can do, this just kind of came to mind, so I'll throw it in there as an added bonus. You can use it to build your grip. So if you struggle to grip the gun in a way that is proper or good, and you go to class and you figure out how to grip the gun better because you actually see when the gun is functioning, hey, this is the best way for me to grip this gun, then you can come home and do Dryfire Mag practice to actually build that grip in. So recently I've been working on getting my dot onto target a little bit faster. Watched a bunch of videos from 1911 Syndicate where Modern Samurai was talking about different, you know, his methodology on grip and dot alignment on the target and all that stuff. And so I've been practicing that basically since January of this year when I watched those videos. So I'll be working on specifically getting my grip and the dot where I want it to be as quickly as possible, and also prepping the trigger while I'm getting to the dot on the target. So as you can see, I'm combining a bunch of different things I'm working on into one fluid kind of process. So I really love the Dryfire Mag because to me, it's given me the most realistic training that doesn't significantly modify the gun and still enables me to get regular, consistent practice. I'll just take 2 or 3 minutes, literally whenever I feel like it, and just shoot away. So I hope you find this video helpful. I hope it helps you improve at the range, and also gives you something fun to do in the evenings. Remember, of course, to be safe about it. Make sure your gun is unloaded and never point it at another person or thing that you do not wish to destroy. If you liked this video, drop a comment below. Tell me what you liked about it. If you've tried other Dryfire systems, I'd love your feedback on them. If you're interested in trying the Dryfire Mag, then go ahead and purchase one directly from their website. Thank you for watching. I do appreciate it. If you can like this video and subscribe to my channel, it would be super awesome and mean the world to me. I'm trying to put out some decent content for people that's just fun and educational, and your thumbs up and subscribes help me know that I'm on the right track. Thank you.